This is John Groves coming to you from my home studio. For today's Bible talk, I want to begin an extended examination of what I consider one of Jesus's greatest parables. I dare say we are all quite familiar with the story about the victim who is left half dead by the side of the road and is later rescued. Jesus shared the parable in response to a lawyer's question. According to Luke, the lawyer wanted to justify himself. The question was, who is my neighbor? This question arose from the Mosaic law, as related in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 18, where we find the mandate, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Rather than try to summarize the parable, brief though it is, I would like simply to read the account as related in the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. See if you can pick up any details you might not have been aware of, or even of details you may have assumed were part of the story but actually are not. Here then is the account, which comes to us from chapter 10 in the Gospel of Luke. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of robbers, who stripped him, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, while traveling, came near him, and when he saw him, he was moved with pity. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, having poured oil and wine over them. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii, gave them to the innkeeper, and said, "Take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever more you spend." Jesus then posed the question to the lawyer about which of the 3 who were on the road proved to be a neighbor to the robbery victim. All 3 of the synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, talk about the mandate to love our neighbor, but only Luke presents the story of the Good Samaritan to illustrate the scope of the obligation. As we have noted, the Jews and the Samaritans did not get along. So for Jesus' audience, who may well have assumed that the traveler who was attacked in the parable was a Jew, the thought that a Samaritan was the person who came to his aid was nothing less than shocking. The inescapable implication here is that being a good neighbor might well mean coming to the aid of your enemy or someone you dislike intensely. What prompts the Samaritan to come to the aid of the wounded traveler? Our biblical text notes the Samaritan was moved with pity. Other English translations use the terms filled with compassion. The Greek word underlying the Samaritan's motivation is the verb splagnizomai. The Greek word is derived from the word used to describe a person's guts or inner organs. These were thought to harbor human emotions. Thus, the sense of the term here is to feel something in your core, in your guts, that moves you to act. This becomes a very powerful driver. Clearly, the priest and the Levite were not so moved. They passed by on the other side of the road. But for us and the Samaritan, Our key question becomes, do we have the capacity to experience the kind of compassion that touches our very core and prompts us to act and not be indifferent? An expanded consciousness, free of mundane concerns, as Charles Fillmore and others believe, is what makes this possible. Until next time.